Is Naoya Inoue the best boxer alive? He might be, and I'm going to show you some of the extra little secrets and tricks he used to get this win over Luis Nery on Monday in the Tokyo Dome. It's time for Technical Difficulties. Welcome everyone, time for Technical Difficulties. My name is Luke Thomas, and this is where I go over the weekends, or in this case, the past few days' best fights. All right, let's talk about it. Naoya Inoue, maybe the best boxer alive. It's either him or Bud Crawford or Alexander Usyk. You can have that debate. But any conversation about who the best boxer in the world is that doesn't include this guy is a fraudulent one. He is absolutely stunning. And his win over Luis Nery, by the way, not without some difficulty, getting dropped for the first time in the first round, but then storming back, dropping him in the second, and basically dropping him again, closing the show in the sixth. You probably have seen the fight. But let me show you some extra details that really kind of bring out just how special this guy is. I'm going to give you some very general notes, but then we'll look at some very specific items. So let's take a look here what we have. I should have moved that key over, but Inoue's keys or key to victory here, there's a lot more very specific. These are very, very general, but I just want to put these things in your mind as we talk about them. First things, pattern confusion, right? So here's a guy who ends up doing one thing and then breaking it after you kind of get used to it. And this happens in all different kinds of ways. He started out jabbing with the outside foot because remember, it's open stance. And if you jab to the outside, that usually creates a lane for the backhand. But this time he would step over and then jab from the outside, only to then later switch it to either stepping on the foot or then jabbing with his foot on the inside, which actually makes it a shorter path, but then changing all of it, the way he exits after a punch that he's expecting. He'll go left, he'll go right, depending on what the opponent is doing, but he'll do it from the same kind of setup. So he's just changing how he exits, foot position. And then, of course, he's changing the pattern when he'll just jab with a single shot and then he'll double it up with change the timing on it. It'll go like 1-2 and then it'll go 1-2 very quickly. Like everything is about establishing a pattern, whether it's defense or offense, whether it's position, doesn't matter, and then changing it later. Doubling up, you see this all the time. In fact, at the end, what does he do? He hits the uppercut and then the straight on the same side. He doubles it up, but he actually doubles it up all the time. It's a common thing he goes to, not just with this opponent, but I think to a degree, obviously it's somewhat opponent specific, but it's just a general tendency. And it's not just that with the punches, it's also he'll double it up and he'll throw and then put a blocking mechanism, which kind of looks like a punch and almost sort of serves like one, not to land, but to occupy the same kind of punching lane anyway. And then he'll do something else. So doubling up, you'll see, is a big part of it. It's not just something he goes to at the end. He does it throughout. And then we have play with timing. Oh my God. I mean, the timing on this guy is absolutely sublime. That's part of pattern confusion. When I use pattern confusion, I'm more talking about what strikes they're throwing, what the position is, but the timing is part of it as well. He splits Nery's timing constantly in this fight. Nery could not get a beat on this guy, no matter how much lead hand fighting was going on, which again, a common thing that happens from Southpaw and Orthodox. We'll take a look at that as well. And then last but not least, I put athletic gifts. He obviously is very technical. Please don't misunderstand me. There is an argument to make about whether or not he's more susceptible to southpaws. Not going to get into that for this video. And not to say that there aren't technical deficiencies. I'm just pointing out, while as technically proficient as he is, he also just seems to have absurd athletic gifts. And one thing I want to pay attention to, it's not just athleticism here. It's kind of a combination between athleticism and technical skill. I want you to pay attention to how balanced he is. This guy is always in position to throw. Rarely, you know, he got dropped in the first round, but we're talking about the overwhelming majority of the tape. He is always in position to throw. One thing you'll see is he'll often throw, retreat, and then throw quickly on this odd beat again, because when he retreats, he's always getting back to a stance that allows him to go back on the attack. And so you'll often see he'll throw, leave the pocket, come back, throw, move for a second, throw again, right? Every time you think a position is settled, it's not. You're in transition. You're the one that's settling. He's already settled at the next stage, waiting for you, and then he throws. There's obviously much more to it than this, but these were some big picture ideas that I wanted you to focus on, because now I want to take a look at some of the evidence for my claims. All right, let's take a look at round number one, and we'll go from there. Again, I'm not going to focus on the defensive liabilities that he did show in this fight. Again, could be a function of Southpaw Orthodox, an open stance fight. That's a conversation for a different time. It's a relevant one. It's an important one, just not the one we're going to have here today. I want to focus on the things he does so well. I want to celebrate a talent who is all-time great, automatic Hall of Famer. Guys, he's been in 22 title fights, and he's had knockouts in 20 of them. Very, very special guy. All right, let's take a look. And by the way, up a weight class too. Here he's at 122, you know what I mean? All right, so again, just pay attention to some of the patterns that he kind of sets and then what he breaks. Here we are in the first round. He's just moving around. You see them fencing, so this lead hand battle, that's gonna be kind of key to everything. But let's see what he does here, right? So they're fencing, they touch, he reaches out, he kind of goes low. A little bit later, then they touch, he doesn't respond. And then as soon as Nery begins to go out to touch again, that kind of lead hand battle on that rhythm, he breaks it and then goes into the jab, lead outside foot position. Again, that's typically what you want for the backhand. You can do it, but it's only because he's going to set up different shots later from this kind of similar predicament. A little bit later, here we are. Touch. Doesn't touch with him, instead goes like he's going to go low. Nery parries it. He kind of skip jumps into it and then goes over with the right. Now he misses here, but then Nery ducks. Pay attention to that. Inoue sees this and is going to pick up on it later, and then he's going to finish him off as a consequence. Right? So establishing patterns. Establishing a pattern, by the way, is not just what he does and then changes it. It's what he does, what you give him, and then he switches it up to take advantage of that. So it can actually be both things, is kind of what I mean. A little bit later. Touch. Let's see. Fencing. 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 And he goes, right? As soon as he's in motion, he goes. Lead outside foot position. Jab doesn't get through. It gets kind of blocked, and he misses because he ducks again. Aha. All right, very good. Going to pick up on that for a little bit later. I'm only showing you stuff that doesn't work so you can see the adjustments when it does. All right, here we are. They're outside. They're outside. Here comes Nery. Jab. Look how close he is. And Inoue, by the way. Inoue not leaning backwards, right? Weight is under him. He's ready to go at any point. Kind of gallops backwards. Look at this. Steps out of the way as Nery gets out of position. And then what do you notice that Inoue does? He throws a shot to the body and then a left hook upstairs. Why is this relevant? Because in round two, when Nery gets dropped, it's from this exact sequence. He's able to maintain upright posture, but yet nevertheless get away. Still has his weight under him. It's a small step backwards. Nery, by contrast, is barreling forward, so his rear foot is going to come forward. Now he kind of takes an angle, but he's changed stances in this particular moment because of the nature of the way that they're matched up like this, right? Or it's pretty close anyway. You can almost see that he's not exactly in, the shoulder is kind of so far over that he has to take this hop out to the angle, and he's not quite in line for the shot to the body and the left hook. It lands not super authoritatively because of the way they're positioned, but you can see this is what they were looking for, knowing they were going to make Nery reach. And instead of throwing the right hand, which we'll talk about, he actually threw the left hook. This is exactly the thing he drops him with in round two. A little bit later, watch. Here they are. Okay, here comes Nery. Look how close he gets. Look at this guy's distance, and his posture is still upright. He's not leaning super far out of the way. He's just out of the way where he needs to be. Here comes Nery throwing that big shot. This foot, this trail leg is going to come forward just like this. Now he's fully switched stances. Again, most people would think you want to throw the right hand. What does Inoue do? Throws the left, and it misses this time. Again, because he hasn't quite gotten the timing right. He hasn't quite gotten the positioning right. Oh, but he's gonna a little bit later, round two. They're fencing. And again, what does he do? He changes timing, right? Watch. Watch here. They touch. And instead of touching again when Nery goes out, he goes just like that. Boom. Right over the top. And cracks him with this. Changing up the timing. Splitting his timing. Just like that. A little bit later, watch. Here comes Nery. Let's see. You see him pawing Pause again, and as soon as he's in motion, here comes Inoue, blasting him with the punch, lowers his level a little bit, boom, right to the body because he can't quite reach the head. You notice he's been missing a little bit. Body's still going to be there, so now he's adding things on top of the jab and beginning to target locate, all inside the second round. Here we are a little bit later. Here comes Nery, touch. Touch, it's on this kind of rhythm, right? Touch. Nery goes. Look, he takes just a bit of a half step backwards, tries to check hook over the top. Nery thinks this position is over, but it's not. His weight is still balanced, so what does he do? Pretends like he's going to throw a jab, gets Nery to kind of elbow block because he thinks it's coming there, and instead, bang, drives one through the middle. This is what I want to pay attention to. Just watch Inoue's body when the punch is thrown. Just pay attention to here if you can, just kind of the hips. I'm gonna open this up, but what I want to show you is just watch him. Slight lean out of the way, check hook. He's loaded still. His feet and weight are under him properly. So what does he do? He waits to come back up top, pretends like he's, pretends like he's gonna go up top. One more time. Pretends like he's gonna go, kind of reaches with the shoulder a little bit, right? And then instead, boop, just like that, kind of fakes him out, gets the elbow block, and then comes right underneath it. It's so subtle that if you actually don't watch it in slow motion, you'll miss it. All right, here we go, a little bit later. Fencing, they touch. Nery reaches out again. Touch. Touch. Oh, nope, he's gonna come to the inside. Now, this one kind of gets partially blocked, so it comes through, bang, to the body again, one more time. Bang, bang. Just like this, doesn't wait until there's some kind of, he's not doing it on the rebound. Now he's going and attacking the body just like this. Now he potentially was risking the left hook there, but he was close enough where I think he felt like he could get away with it, and certainly he did. And then he just gets away right at the end there. A little bit later, jab, right? Doesn't really land. Here comes Nery, jab, not very close. Look at this guy's feet, man. They're always under him. Always, always, always. Nery tries to take lead outside foot position. Let's see what he does with it. Nothing. Inoue doesn't see anything coming. Here comes the jab, lead outside foot position. Inoue gets away. Now watch. Inoue is continuously, look, can't touch him. So I'm going to take a big step, and he's going to throw this one way over the top. But as a consequence, his momentum takes him forward, so he has to kind of switch stances. But pay attention to Inoue's feet, right? Pay attention to this and this. Let me go blow it up here a little bit. Pay attention to Inoue's feet. He kind of pendulum steps backwards, but now he's landed. He's firmly planted, and Nery, is barreling into him. So what does he eat? Boom, left hook. Most people would think, oh, it's going to be the right, it's going to be the right that's chambered. That's going to be the one when Nery overthrows. And you could have gone that. That would have been the common one, but you're going to throw against yourself. This, or I should say across your body. In this particular case, he doesn't have to throw across his body. He just kind of resets, and Nery is leaning forward, so he just greets him with a left hook and drops him here. We'll take a look at it here an additional way in a second. Just watch this. Now he is stepping on the foot, and that jab goes perfectly, right? Watch. Back foot plants. Front foot lands, and instead of going to the back one, he's going to change the timing. Boom, comes right up, and then steps on his foot. He is going to double this up later in terms of attacks, not for the same side, but he'll go to a jab later, stepping on it, knowing he's now, like, what the distance looks like, what the timing looks like, what do I need to do to be able to step on his foot, bang. You're going to see him build on this more. Round three. Here's that stop, here's that where he drops him early in the second round. Watch, Nery comes with a jab, not close enough. Look at this dude, right? Look at his eyes, boy. Look at those things. I mean, down range on you. He sees everything. His vision is superb. It's so good. So, what does he do? Waits for it, puts a hand up here to stop any potential follow-up attack, right? Waits for it, brings a hand up in case this one gets close enough. But look at his eyes. One more time, man. He sees it all. Here comes Nery whiffing with this big shot. He's going so far forward, he has to catch himself. And as he does, watch the weight of Inoue. Look at this guy's posture. Now look at Inoue's. Boop. And he's just going to wait. Feet are planted. And he's going to go. Look at that, man. That is, dude, the balance you have to have, the reaction time you have to have, and look at this little punch. Bah, that's it, man. That's it. That's all it is. The amount of power that this dude can generate in the tiniest of windows is absurd. It's absurd. He almost makes boxing look easy because everything he does sort of looks almost natural. You know what I mean? Like he can just do it very simply. There's nothing simple about this. Chris Algieri was talking about this. Shouts to Chris Algieri about how well balanced he is. And in this particular exchange he was referring to, look at that. Now, yes, it is also complemented by the fact that Nery is lunging into it. Okay, fair enough. But nevertheless, the short amount of distance that punch travels and the punch selection and the balance required to do it and the surprising nature of it, because everyone thinks the right hand is going to come through when they go across their body like that. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Just a one-of-a-kind kind of boxer. All right, here we are, round 3. Again, they're fencing. Look at this. Touch. Up. Now watch this very closely. Right? Touch. 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 And he takes outside foot position. What does Nery do? Nery says, I'm going to back up a step. So he backs up a step. They touch. He goes inside now. So now you're beginning to see him switch up some of the patterns, see what kind of response he gets. Nery doesn't really back up. He just kind of leans a little bit, takes a small step. And so when they are fencing, rather than greeting him, he comes underneath with the jab and just kind of misses. But we're beginning to change the patterns. It's all beginning now. We're beginning to build the attacks on all the reactions we begin to get the first few rounds, first couple rounds in this particular case. All right, here we are. Goes to the body instead of greeting him up top, right? Touch. Instead of touching again, he goes, bang, to the body, lead outside foot position. Is he going to throw to a secondary one? Now, this is what's interesting to me. He throws this to the body. You'll see that Nery kind of gets a forearm on it to bring it down. So instead of just kind of pulling back so he doesn't get hit, he actually brings the hand up to create traffic. See that? Now he does bring his head up, he's got his hand here, but this arm kind of stays in position, right? So Nery kind of, it touches, Nery's trying to circle parry it looks like, or at least down parry it, but he brings it back inside to stop Nery from getting going, putting it in his face, and then Nery thinks, we're done here. Nope. Jabs again, boom, throws the right hand. Nery is still resetting. Look, he's throwing again because he's already set again. Brings his feet without changing stance. Look at this big punch he throws. You think, that trail leg's going to come through to help him catch himself. Nope. He kind of takes a shuffle step, right? He's still in position to throw. Look at Nery. Nery is leaning on the ropes. He's not in position. Dude, Naoya Inoue is always in position. It's absurd. He has offense in so many different scenarios, retreating scenarios, far outside scenarios, weird angle scenarios, because he is balanced. And so, boom, to the body, hook to the head, just misses, and then he's going to throw him off. Referee's going to warn him not to do that. All right, a little bit later. What do we see here? What do we see here? Boy, look at this dude. I mean, it's just a fucking absurd, man. Look at this dude's eyes, boy. An assassin this guy is. All right, here we go. He sees Nery's punch coming. He gets underneath the jab. He's got inside foot position, so that means the lane to get to the jab is shorter, right? Nery whiffs on a shot. He goes super low. Look at that, man. And then he whiffs on another one. Now, I said I wasn't going to speak about the defensive prowess of Inoue because there are some problems in this one. This was excellent defense, also very athletic. It got an audible gasp from the audience, so I wanted to include it. All right, a little bit later. Here we are. Inoue looking down. Look at this, looking down, then comes up over the top. Also want you to pay attention where his feet are, right? Let's see what his feet are. Positioning is everything. He takes inside foot positioning, pretends like he's going to go low. Why? Because he's been jabbing to the body, or at least going low to the body with the right hand, and instead he comes over the top and around the glove. But he's got the inside foot position. He's going to change this later. He's going to keep the same punch, but he's going to slide a little bit over to get a bit of a better target, right? All right, touch. or at least fencing. All right, here's Nery thinking that they're touching. He changes up the timing again. Boom, goes to the right hand. Let's see what happens here. All right, he brings his leg forward, but this is what I mean about doubling up. The right hand doesn't really get through, but if he keeps going, he could get countered. So what does he do? He keeps the right hand up, occupies the punching lane, blinding, putting Nery on this defensive back foot and bad posture so he can what? Boom, left hook him. Now he's recaptured stance and changed angles. Because look, they were on this line before. He throws, doubles it up, gets back here, throws the left hook, and now they're on this line. So many tricks, so many tools, so many little skills he has to keep himself safe, and once again, in position to attack. I cannot overstate that enough. In position to attack. All right, here he is again. Jab, but he's got outside foot position. So what's he going to do? He's going to whip that same shot around. This is the one you just saw before, except he was foot inside position. Now he's going outside foot position. Switching it all up constantly. Here we go. Nery takes a step. Inoue comes over with a hook, a lead hook as he steps. Now I know the referee's blocking it, but just watch. You see Nery come with that sort of like sweeping left hand. He misses. Look at Inoue. Look at Inoue. Still in a position to throw. Kind of pushes to reestablish distance. Get himself safe. Oh, and by the way, hold on. One more time. It's that same left hook almost. He doesn't quite throw it, but this is the same situation from round 2 when he dropped him. Slight different, but you get the same idea about where his positioning was and what's going through his head and what he's able to get him with. All right, here we go. They're fencing, switches up timing, blasts him with the right hand. And what does he do? Anticipates the counter and then moves off at an angle. Comes at an angle, exits at an angle. Or comes in straight, exits at an angle. Love that from him. A little bit later. Right? Let's see. Sort of throws on the half beat. Watch his body here. Watch his feet. Watch his feet, okay? So front foot comes down. Back foot establishes. And rather than the front foot going down, he just leaps right off of it, off that back foot, bang. He's into position and he's so quick, he can kind of get away with these little windows. He throws that, and what happens? Underneath the hook and exits at an angle. Right? Because he's entering on this one, he's exiting on this one. Okay, a little bit later. Nery, guard down. What does he do? He just pops him for it. Bang. And now he's beginning to get that right hand going. His left hook and his left hand has always been very potent. His right hand is now becoming extremely potent, as you can see. Very, very good from him. Pops him. Here we are a little bit later. Let's see. Here comes Nery barreling down. Inoue. One more time, boys and girls. Eyes open. Big time. Looking right through. Sees what's happening. Goes for the right hand. Misses. Now what happens usually? He exits, What happens usually? He exits this way. What does he do this time? Throws the right hand and now throws. He's going to take a second step and then he's going to get out of the way. So before he was exiting to his right, now he's exiting to his left, baiting the same kind of punch. So Nery doesn't know which way he's going. Pattern change. Pattern recognition, pattern change. Pattern recognition, pattern change. All the effing time. A little bit later, round 4. Here comes a jab from Nery that touches. Check left hook over the top. He's got outside foot position. Let's see. Bounces one time. Watch. Bounces. Goes forward. Nery still has a foot in the air. He's already in motion. Look, front heel's coming up, hands already there. He's already in motion. Takes a small step back, gets into position, and goes. Outside foot position. So he went outside, on top, inside, back to outside. Right? Jab. So he jabs to come through the middle. Let's see what he does with that. Gets a reaction. Here comes Nery. Jab through the middle again. Comes with a right hand, right? So now he's forcing Nery to bring his gloves to the center so he can do what? Change the angle of attack, first of all, because they're here. Now they're here. And by the way, look at Nery's center line. I mean, Inoue's got him dead to rights. He's almost got him square. You'll see this a lot. You'll see him T-bone him constantly. And instead, fakes like he's going to go with his shoulder. Nery, you see, anticipating something from the right hand, and instead, bang, comes over the top with the left. So condition this guy to expect linear attack, body head, linear attack, fake with the shoulder, and then load with the left. I mean, it's just brilliant what he does. Oh, and by the way, what do you notice? We saw Nery do this in the first round, right? With the big hooking shots, what was he doing? He was getting underneath. He was ducking. So what do you see this? Oh, Inoue's like, thank you, bang. Does that look familiar to you? Because that's the shot that ends the whole thing, or sets up the end of the whole thing. Here we are a little bit later. Nery pressing in off that jab. Inoue splits his timing fucking perfectly. And now we've got lead outside foot position, but now we go to the backhand. No more jabbing. It's a reactionary shot. He's not setting it up off the jab, but this is what I mean about using and playing with foot position. It's just hard to tell whatever's coming from this guy. A little bit, and then he exits out. Look at him leaning in, trying to create a target. Pulls back. Nery comes forward, taking the bait. Pops the jab. Just touches him. Doesn't quite land. But boom, comes with the right hand. He's still in position. Nery is reeling. Look at him. Still in position. Nery is reeling, so he just throws the right hand again, doubling up on the attacks. He can throw 2 shots for offense, 1 shot for offense, 1 shot for obstructing traffic lanes, and then resetting position. This is what I mean about doubling up. It's not just sole offense, or at least it's not just sole offense in the combination. It can be offense, setup, more offense. Here we go. Looks over, baiting him, throws to the body, lead outside foot position. Gets, what does he get him? He gets him leaning, boom. Doesn't quite make the full contact, but what do you notice? Boom, throws it, foot's up in the air. So he's off balance. So what's he gonna do? Throw another one just to keep Nery occupied, then resettle the position and get away safely. 5th round, almost done. Nery gets low, he jabs, misses, but what are you gonna see? He steps on his foot, pow, and cracks him as a consequence. Outside, inside, on top, outside, 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 inside, on top, inside, outside. It's a nightmare to deal with this guy. And what do you mean? Here we go again. Foot comes off the ground. Oh, that's bad positioning. Throw it again to continue to off balance him. It's just an arm punch, but it allows him to reset. Touch, touch, touch from Nery. Touch, boom. Just meets him on time. Goes right over the top. Nery gets low, right hand. And what do you notice? Nery, hold on, excuse me. One more time. Punches. Nery swinging with his left. He comes over there. Head is blocking the vision on this side. So what's he going to do? He's going to pull this arm out and come around where Nery can't see it. As soon as his head comes back and creates a lane and is no longer obscuring vision, the punch replaces it. I'm going to use my head to block this side, and as soon as it comes up, bow, catches him, boom, and that hurts him. And again, dude, you don't need a ton of look at the distance this punch travels. Pop, it's not a huge amount. Doesn't need a huge amount when you got this kind of skill and this kind of athletic gift. Pops him, and then Nery's just all out of sorts here, and he gets just bombed on. All right, this is where he gets dropped again, I think. Let's see. So he rotates out. Nery, look at him. He's got his center line completely exposed. Completely exposed. Left hook. He's going to bring the hand down when he does. See that? He's going to bring the glove down. So it's what Canelo did to Munguia. Boom to the body. Just look at that rib roaster, boy. Just absurd. And then he's going to come back over the top with the hook. Now that he has created the lane for it, he's got him bending over with the posture. And then he just gets away. As Nery, by the way, what do you notice? Switching stances, shifting into position, or out of position. Doesn't matter, though, for that particular sequence. All right, a little bit later. Here you go. What are we doing? Gets low, right hand, doubles up the right hand, left hook to the body. And again, playing a little bit of fire there, but it doesn't really matter because he gets away. And he was too close, like before. All right, here's the shot that drops him. Look at this left hand, or excuse me, this right hand. Very far away. Nery just kind of walking in nonchalantly into range, gets popped. He's thinking that the jab's going to come first, but instead, boom, he gets hit. And then they're going to clinch up here. Watch this. This is where he drops him again in the 5th. It's the same principle we just saw on the right-hand side. Now we're going to see it on the left-hand side. So watch this. Head to head. He throws this hook. Can't quite get a punch on it because Nery was trying to get the uppercut. And you'll notice they're both here, and when they come up, they're both going to kind of peel out. So the hook is a better shot, but it's still somewhat obstructed. It's much better than the uppercut of Nery. So it's somewhat obstructed. And also, this is what I want you to pay attention to. So that lands, but it's not enough. He returns to position, right? Now watch. His eyes are open the whole time. It's crazy. His head is blocking the vision. So as soon as he peels back the head and the glove, look, the instant the glove is open, pow. And look at this shot, dude. Look, there's almost no, it's just the economy of motion. It's absurd. It's absurd what this dude can do. And he pops him. All right, we're in the last round here. He's going to close the show here pretty quickly. Waiting for the fencing, the open stance fencing, lead hand battle. Jabs inside, knows that he's going to duck under, gets him to, even if he's not trying to greet him with that punch, if it still goes to the body, it still keeps him bent over so he can hit him with another shot. Gets out of the way, right? Taunting him at this point. He was taunting him earlier, but okay. So we go jab, cross, hook, right? Because he's trying to bring his hands close together. They do. So he hooks him, sets back, takes a step on the back foot. He's still ready to go. Jab, cross, misses. And then a little bit later, he throws a hooking shot. What do you think he wants Nery to do? Probably bend over, also depending on hand position. Catches him, and then he's just dead to rights here. Bang, bang, bang. He's catching him just left and right at this point. Nery's almost done at this point. Okay, here's the last sequence. Watch. Jab just to measure distance and blind him, see where he's at. Also, look. Just completely exposing his center line because now he's up against the ropes, Nery is. Right, so he jabs, hands come up, let's see. Kind of torques back on that left hook. Let's see if he tries to pull the hand down. Nery wants to get underneath the hook, right? He doesn't want to get hit with it. So he goes down, and then he's just, look at him, Inoue just feeds him to the uppercut. Watch here. Just going to feed it to him. Bang, son! Oh, what a shot. By the way, lead inside foot position again, playing with it all the time. And then he just sees the situation for what it is. Nery was throwing a left hook as a counter. We just saw this previously. So he reads it and says, yeah, thanks. Bang, right hand, just like that. And closes the show. Guys, this is such a special talent. He is there's not many guys in MMA or boxing that you would consider like appointment viewing. That dude is appointment viewing. Him, Bud Crawford, Usyk, and there's other ones too. They don't have to be just the very, very best ones to be appointment viewing, but that guy for sure is. What a talent. What a performance. Unbelievable. What did you like most about it? Let me know in the comments. Thumbs up, hit subscribe, and become a member on the channel. You get all kinds of extra goodies. I'm Luke Thomas. Thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time, enjoy the fights.